morning. Good morning. Happy Tuesday, everybody. Happy New Year's Eve, everybody. We've made it to the end of 2024. There's a lot to reflect on, I would say, when we get to, this part of the year. New Year's Eve calendar flipping to 2025 tomorrow. Um, yeah, there's a lot of good football on today and tomorrow. Which I'm excited for. So we're going to talk about that here. We're going to give out my favorite bets for today's college football games, tomorrow college football games. We'll take maybe a quick look ahead at NFL this weekend. There's a couple big games this weekend for the NFL for playoff purposes. Yeah, and I hope you guys had a good year. Thank you guys for watching all of the content this year. It's been it was a really weird year for me in terms of stuff that went on. And I've seen some people like say things and they just have truly, I can tell you, no idea what they're talking about. If I wanted to expose some stuff, I could. I have never spoke on it, and I've chose to take the high road in that aspect. So this is probably the only time I've ever talked about it. This is the only time I will talk about it, but just kind of, going along with that whole reflection upon the last year. It was definitely a difficult year for me, but I'm happy with, where I'm at now. I'm happy with everything that's going on. Shout out to Rolling Insights, shout out to SportWise for bringing me on. I think 2025 is going to be a big year, but just know, like, if I really wanted to expose some stuff, I could, but I have chose not to, and that is it's the only thing I'll say on that. But I've seen some people, saying stuff, commenting, and I can just tell you firsthand, you truly have no idea, what went on, what was going on. And yeah, I'll leave it at that. All right, let's get in. Like I said, bunch of games today. I refreshed also the NFL power rankings. I'll make a TikTok about this later. But we have Buffalo number 1, Detroit number 2. No shocker there. Philly, who I have been saying for weeks. The data kept having Philly at like 6, 7. I was like, they need to be higher. They're up to number 3 now, which I like to see. Minnesota, Green Bay, Chargers, Chiefs. Honestly, I'm pretty good with this, top 7. You could debate the order, but overall, I'm pretty good with that top 7. And it's insane how stacked the NFC North is with 3 teams in the top 5. Actually crazy. All right. If you guys have questions on anything, go ahead and ask. Also, it looks like it's dark outside. It's like pouring here. It's the middle of the day, and it looks like it's 9 o'clock at night because it's just raining. But we'll start with today's games, and then we'll look at tomorrow's playoff games. There is that one playoff game tonight as well, which we'll talk about. But first game starts in about an hour. Alabama, Michigan. Alabama has gotten steamed. Obviously, Michigan, most of their good players that are getting drafted high are not playing. They don't have a quarterback anyways. They haven't had a quarterback all season. Alabama, most of their guys are playing, though I will say I'm a little concerned we could see a Cam Ward Miami situation with Alabama and Jalen Milroe in the second half. Not sure if those guys are going to be playing in the second half of this game. So I would be a little concerned about laying that 16.5 points. It may not make a difference just because Michigan is so thin here and it's just a huge mismatch. But I would have some caution laying that 16.5. So to combat that, I'm going to be betting Alabama minus 9.5 for the first half. I feel pretty good about that. I think they should be up 14, 17 points here if all goes well. I don't know if Michigan will even score in the first half of this game. So I like Alabama minus 9.5 for the first half of the first game here at noon. Little worried about that 16.5. Not sure if I would lay that. The next game at 2, Louisville, Washington. This is my biggest bet of the day. And I really like Washington here. So if you guys don't know, obviously some Louisville had some opt-outs, their quarterback, whatever. Washington's going to be going to this true freshman at quarterback, Damon Williams. I love Damon Williams. I think Damon Williams is really good. I think he's, even as a true freshman, I think he's better than the quarterbacks that Washington has had playing for the majority of the season. I think if you remember back to last year, let me pull it up here. If you think back to last season, we saw this from Kansas State when they went to Avery Johnson in the bowl game. Let me see here. So Kansas State played NC State last year, basically on the same day, December 28th. And they went to Avery Johnson at quarterback, and he went crazy, right? 14 of 31, but 2 passing touchdowns, no picks, and then he ran for 71 yards and a touchdown. Kansas State won 28-19. So I think this is a very similar situation for Washington going to Damon Williams, who I think is their best quarterback. Washington was underdogs for a while here. It's moved to them minus 118. I'm fine with the minus 118. This is a 2-unit play for me. Washington, just take them on the money line as opposed to that minus 1.5 since it's under minus 125. Typically, if it's under like minus 125, I'll just take the money line. So Washington money line today is my favorite bet overall. And then I can't bet it on a traditional book here in Ohio. But if you're in a state where you can bet on college props, Damon Williams anytime touchdown was plus 180 on Caesars. I saw. I would be betting that as well. So really, really, really big spot here for Washington, in my opinion. Take him on the money line. Damon Williams anytime touchdown, plus 180. I love it. South Carolina, Illinois. Lean South Carolina here, but I don't really want to lay a 9.5 in a bowl game. Maybe you could take them first half as well, or maybe you could parlay. I don't even know what that would pay. Let me see. If you took the tie out of it and just did 3-way winner first half, South Carolina and Alabama, that's minus 130. You could talk me into that maybe. I don't hate it. But I don't really want to lay minus 9.5 for the full game, but I definitely lean towards South Carolina on this side. Baylor, LSU. I haven't looked at this game as much as the others, so I'll leave the chat up to that. If chat has any picks on Baylor, LSU, drop them in there. I'm not going to be betting that game. What? Okay, chat. So we get in like arguments with my uncle all the time about football. So if you guys are watching this, let me know how insane this statement was. So my uncle is just a total boomer, and I have no idea what he's talking about the majority of the time. He just texted in this group chat, Lamar is my boy, but until he wins in the playoffs, he's not an MVP. What is he even talking about? The MVP is the last time I checked, they gave out the MVP for the regular season. I didn't know that the playoffs had anything to do with the MVP. So I don't know once again, I don't know what this guy's talking about. And I'm going to not look at my phone until the stream is over because I'm just going to lose my mind and start arguing with him. But regardless, okay, night game tonight, Penn State, Boise. 11.5 point spread in favor of Penn State. Yeah, like Kadar, what is this guy? What is he talking about? Yes, exactly. Josh Allen also has not won anything. I don't know. I don't even know what oh my God. This is what I have to deal with every day with this guy. I get in arguments every single day. This is what I have to deal with. Oh my God. It's like a toddler that I have to deal with like a toddler. I don't know. It's so annoying. And then God forbid, just don't even I'm not even gonna get into the fantasy football arguments. I mean, this guy is just oh my lord. Does he says, "Does winning regular season games matter?" Uh, alright, Penn State, Boise, like I said, 11.5 points. Uh, I've kinda gone back and forth on this. I'm curious what anyone in the chat, what do you guys think? I think Penn State's probably gonna just roll them, to be honest with you. Yeah, exactly. Yes, it's a regular season award, so by criteria, yes, winning the regular season games would matter. My God. But I think Penn State's probably gonna roll here. I really don't trust I mean, Ashton Genty is Ashton Genty. I really don't trust Boise State's quarterback situation if they're losing. Boise State has played pretty favorable in terms of the teams they've played. And then in the close games that they have played or times that they could lose, they've gotten really lucky to where they were playing from ahead for the majority of the time, right? Against UNLV the first time, it was close enough to where, they weren't far enough away to where they had to like completely abandon the run. UNLV did pretty good against Genty the first time that those teams played. And then just past here on December 2nd, when Boise State played UNLV, Boise State rolled. It was 44-20. They were playing from ahead. Even when Boise played Oregon earlier this season, if we look at the score, Oregon was up 7-3 after the first quarter, and then Boise went on a huge run in the second quarter, outscoring them 17-7. So it was 20-14 at halftime in favor of Boise. So once again, they were playing from ahead, and I have some concerns about Maddox Madsen playing from behind. So, and I just don't know if they're going to be able to jump on Penn State even the way that they did Oregon. I don't know if they'll be able to do that. Like, oh, December 6th was the last time. Boise UNLV, Boise won 21-7. Like, they were playing from ahead. The first time they played it was 29-24, but at halftime, Boise was up 17-10. Again, they were playing from ahead. I have concerns about Madsen against A, a good defense, and B, if they start losing. Penn State's defense is too good. Yeah, I completely agree. So I think Penn State's probably going to roll here. I'm going to check. I'm curious if Boise's the public side of this just because of Genty. Let me see if I can find the splits here. Yeah, so Boise is getting almost 60% of the spread tickets. Penn State 43%, but 55% of the money to cover that 11. So I would lean towards Penn State here full game. FanDuel also has a 50% profit boost for this game. I'm using it on Penn State first half, -6.5. So with the 50% boost, it's plus 118. So that's my bet for this game. But if you want to take them full game, 11.5, I think that's fine. I also am going to take Katron Allen anytime touchdown parlayed with Alabama money line, and it's around even odds. I think it was -110. So I like Penn State first half -6.5 with the profit boost. Katron Allen anytime touchdown parlayed with Alabama money line. If you want to take Penn State for the full game, I definitely lean that as well. I honestly don't hate the under either because For this game to go over 54.5, I mean, do we really think Boise is gonna score what, 3 touchdowns? Probably not, right? Their team total's 20.5. I'd probably take the under on that. Like, if they go down 14-0, I don't know if they're gonna lose, or, I don't know if they're gonna score much. Like, they might put up, like, 10 points. So, if you wanted to take a team total under, the under in the full game, I don't hate that either. I mean, Penn State probably, in my opinion, would have to score, like, 40 something points for that to go over, and I just don't know if they're gonna do that. Who gets ripped more if they lose in the wild card round, Lamar or Allen? Ooh, that's actually a good question. Probably both of them, to be honest. Like, they both kinda have that reputation, but I would probably say Lamar if I had to pick one just because it's such, like, a scapegoat thing. Like, y I don't understand why he gets kind of ripped for that. Like, last year, the Ravens were favored over the Chiefs in the AFC Championship game, and if you go back and watch it, I mean, they probably should have won the game. Like, Zay Flowers got that, like, 15-yard penalty. There was a fumble into the end zone. Like, a lot of just, like, Chiefs getting lucky. Not lucky because the Chiefs are very good, but you know how they're like the Steelers, that just random things happen in their favor all the time, more so than other teams. But the Ravens easily could have won, that game. And I don't know. I mean, the Ravens, I think they probably would have won the Super Bowl. I would have taken the Ravens over the Niners if that was the Super Bowl matchup. So I don't know. Probably Lamar, but they both will get ripped for sure. All right, that's today's games. Alabama first half, Washington money line, Damon Williams anytime touchdown, Katron Allen anytime touchdown with Alabama money line, and then the Penn State bets. For tomorrow, Texas, Arizona State, I don't know. I don't really want to lay 12.5, but similar to Clemson, like, I think Texas probably just rolls them. I do think Arizona State obviously is better than Clemson. I do, but it's just, I don't know. It's just a talent discrepancy at the end of the day, I think. Might take these big favorites team total over. Yeah, I think that is a fine strategy for sure. I don't hate that. Yeah, Texas team total over. Even Texas team total for the first half over would be good, I think, too. Let me see if I can find what that is. Oh yeah, dude. Texas 16.5 total points for the first half. I'm taking that. I can tell you that right now. That might be a 2 unit. 16.5 for the first half. They're gonna have like 24 points at halftime. I would be shocked if they scored under 16.5 at half. That seems like too low in my opinion. I don't know. That's like weirdly low. I don't know. I thought that was gonna be at least 18. I don't know. I'll be betting that definitely. Ohio State, Oregon. This is my biggest play tomorrow. It's just going to be Ohio State money line. They're minus 2.5. I don't know if it'll move back to 1.5 or not, but I guess you could wait until tomorrow to see if you get like a minus 125. But Ohio State on the money line is going to be a big play for me. I like them. Obviously, I like Jeremiah Smith. If you can bet props or anything along that line, I can't in Ohio, so I have to find different ways to bet that. But yeah, I like Ohio State big. And then Notre Dame, Georgia. I'm kind of conflicted on this because I've kind of come around on Notre Dame a little bit just over the last few weeks. But we have this future on Georgia. I took that future back a couple months ago on Georgia to win the title. So it's kind of like I want to bet Georgia in this game, but it doesn't make a lot of sense for me to do so with the future I have. So I might put like a little bit on Notre Dame just to hedge, but I honestly think Georgia is going to win the game. I think Carson Beck not playing is like an advantage for Georgia. Like I think their backup is better and kind of like more engaged, I would say. I don't know. I have just haven't liked the vibes around Carson Beck for the last couple months. So I think Stockton playing is honestly like good for Georgia. And I think they're top to bottom the better team. And that's not to say Notre Dame's bad because I earlier in the season I was like, oh, it's gonna be a classic kind of fade Notre Dame at the end of the year. I've come around. I think they're good. And I think Marcus Freeman has done well this year relative to past years, but I really just can't pick them over Georgia. So I'm gonna pick Georgia to win. I don't know if I'll bet it though, just because we have the future on them. Probably makes sense to bet Notre Dame. But I've done this in the past. I've said I'm gonna hedge and then I just double bet the team. So I don't know. Maybe tomorrow I'll just end up betting Georgia. I have no idea. Hypothetical. Oh wait, this is interesting. All right, hypothetical spreads of these semifinal games. Let's take a look at this. Yeah, if Georgia bottles the run game up 100%, they're going to try and make Riley Leonard throw. I agree with that. I would say Texas doesn't have a really strong running game, I would say, but Georgia did very good in stopping them. It's going to be a tougher conversation about Jeremiah Love. Jeremiah Love is a stud, so it's going to be harder to bottle him up. But I do agree that they're going to try and make Riley Leonard throw. And if they succeed in doing that, it's not going to look good for Notre Dame. FanDuel has hypothetical lines up for these games. Georgia with minus 12.5 over Boise. Georgia minus 2.5 over Penn State. Penn State plus 1.5 against Notre Dame. Notre Dame minus 11.5 against Boise. Ohio State minus 1.5 against Texas. I would be on Ohio State over Texas, I think, most certainly. Oregon, interesting. So FanDuel has Texas minus 1.5 against Oregon, but plus 1.5 against Ohio State. I mean, I guess that's checks out considering Ohio State is favored in that game against Oregon, but interesting. I would definitely take. I don't know. I really think Ohio State's going to the national title. I don't know if they'll win when they get there, but I've kind of felt that way since they lost to Michigan, and I'm sticking to that. 49ers team total. Yeah, oh yeah, that was a good bet yesterday. Thank God we hit that. They almost hit that at halftime. We had 49ers over 23.5 team total. I think they had 21 at halftime. That was pretty easy. Yeah, Will Howard is my concern as well. The only reason I'm confident in this is he played his best game of the whole season against against Tennessee. Like he struggled honestly for the majority of the season in my opinion, but he balled out against Tennessee. If he plays like that, they're going to be tough to beat. My problem is I still don't trust Ryan Day like in a national championship game. Like if it was them versus Georgia or even Notre Dame, I don't know if I would trust Ryan Day, but I mean top to bottom Ohio State has the best team roster-wise for sure. Who was the touchdown play? Oh, from Washington, Damon Williams. It's their quarterback for today. I saw it was on Caesars. I don't know if it's listed anywhere else, or maybe Prize Picks maybe has it. Let me see if I can check that. To be honest, I don't know if I can look at Prize Picks lines. Yeah, it's like it's not letting me. I don't know if my location's turned off or something, but I don't know. Prize Picks might have Damon Williams touchdown. I'm not sure. All right. Overall, quicker stream today. If you guys are going out tonight or drinking, whatever, please be safe. Don't drink and drive, all that good stuff. Have a good, safe New Year's Eve. If you join late, bets for today, Alabama first half -9.5. 2 units, Washington money line. 1 unit, Damon Williams anytime touchdown +180. 1 unit, Katron Allen anytime touchdown parlayed with Alabama money line. It was -110. Penn State first half -6.5 +118 with the FanDuel 50% profit boost. Penn State, if you want to take the 11.5 for the full game, you can do that as well. Don't know if I will. And then for tomorrow, I'm putting 3 units, Ohio State money line, and probably 2 units, Texas first half team total over 16.5. So that's the rundown. I'll tweet out my bets because I'm sure there's people that aren't watching this, but good luck with your bets today. Congrats if you won your fantasy championship yesterday. I won money in all of my leagues. Didn't get any championships this year, but I cashed in every single league I did, so it was a good year for me. I'll be live tomorrow, 11 a.m. We'll talk more playoffs and stuff tomorrow. So good luck with your bets tonight, and I'll see everybody tomorrow.